Now we shall look at the features of drama. Features of drama. Drama has certain features. That's what we want to look into right now. The first is characters. Characters. What? Well, by the way, we have dealt with some of these features when we're talking about prose. So I will not dwell much on them because I believe we have topics on them already on the app or on the site. So you may want to refer to those parts of clips or lectures on the app or site that have these parts we've talked about already. But I'll just give a slight explanation and then move on. Characters here refers to the actual actors in a play. They are the people around which a story is built. It is through them that the playwright tells his or her story. So you may just simply look at them as actors. Characterization, on the other hand, is the process of creating characters for your play. It is the playwright, the writer, who creates characters. The writer is like a god in drama or a play because he or she creates characters, gives these characters roles, chooses to kill the characters if he or she chooses to. So the whole process of naming characters and giving them roles is what characterization is about. The third is dialogue. Dialogue, of course, refers to the communication, oral communication between and amongst characters in a play. By dialogue, I mean talk, speaking, communication. The actors in a play, like the ones you would have watched on stage, speak with one another like you speak with your brother or your sister. So this communication is what is referred to as dialogue. Monologue, on the other hand, refers to one person speaking to oneself. Monologue, as against dialogue. On the other hand, plot is the structure of a play. The plot is the structure of the entire play. It is how the playwright wishes to have the play flow. It is how the playwright wishes to tell that story. It is the entire structure of a play. So when somebody asks you, what's the plot of the book you're reading, what the person is merely asking is, what is the story like? What's the structure? How has the author structured the story? Next is action. Action. Action is what obtains when people in a play do things. When characters do things. The different activities that characters do, engaging in your play or in a play, is what action is. Action is the entire embodiment of acting. The word acting is from action. So what you see people do on TV when you watch films, what you see people do in drama when you watch drama is called action. Somebody does like this, it is action. Somebody does like this, it is action. Somebody walks in a certain way, it is action. So action is the entire display, physical display in a play. Dramatis personae. Usually this is more like the list of characters in a play. When you pick a book, a play, a book of drama, which is called a play, or yeah, when you pick one, you will see that in the beginning of the book, there's a list of all of the characters, all of the characters, there's a list of them in the early part of a play. That list is what we refer to as dramatis personae. On the other hand, we have cast. Cast. I mean, there's a lot of similarity between dramatis personae, cast, characters. Cast refers to the actors that are billed to appear on a play. Yes, the cast of a play are those who are supposed to act or appear in a play. Yes, these are the cast. I mean, in casting, the actors still retain their original names. If you are a cast of a play, and let's say your name is Ngozi, you are still Ngozi as a cast, playing Onyeka. So the original names of all actors billed or meant to appear in a play is what we refer to as cast. But then you have the names of the characters they are playing in front of them. So this, I hope that's clear. Playwright. Playwright is the magician. The playwright is the author. The playwright is the idealist, the creator. The playwright is the writer of a play. If you write a play today, if you write a play, you are the playwright. If I write a play, I am the playwright. So the playwright is the person who writes a play. And most often the playwright is not the person who directs the play on stage. I can write a play and somebody else chooses, or I bring somebody else on board to direct the play on stage, because that person may be better at directing than me. So you most often have playwrights who are not directors. I mean, Wole Soyinka's book titled The Lion and the Jewel has been directed by numerous directors, even against Soyinka's knowledge. You can wake up today and say you want to direct Soyinka's play. So the playwright is that person who has the idea. Is that person who has taken time to write out the play. Conflict in play is that point of divergence. It is the point of collusion between mostly the protagonist and the antagonist, the actor and the boss. It is the point where issue comes up. It is the point where an issue that divides the house in a play happens. Every play must have a conflict. Same for prose, same for novels. Protagonist is the main actor of a play. The protagonist is the main actor of a play. It is the protagonist that a story revolves around. The protagonist is usually the favorite of the readers or of the audience. He or she is that person that is loved by people. The antagonist, on the other hand, is the one who is against the protagonist. This is also a main character, but the role of the antagonist is to go against the protagonist. Are you following? To go against the protagonist. And that is where the origin of this word comes from. Anta. It means against. And most often you hear people say, come on, don't be antagonistic. It means don't just be against other people or someone. And M, we have denouement or resolution. Denouement or resolution here refers to the ending point of a story, of a play. It is that point where all conflicts are resolved and the story ends well. The story ends with the resolution of all conflicts, and that's why you have the word resolution here. At the point of denouement or resolution, a story is winding down. A story is ending. Like I said, there's a conflict at some point in a story. The conflict lingers, gets to climax, and at the point where the conflict is resolved, perhaps by the death of the antagonist or the downfall of the antagonist, there's a resolution, a denouement, everything comes down. Welcome back. Now we shall look at catharsis. Catharsis. Catharsis is the release of emotion. Catharsis is the release of emotion. It is the use of play to help both actors and audience release certain emotion. There are some plays that you watch, probably about fear, that after watching the play, you overcome your fear. There are some plays that you watch that at a certain point of the play, some emotion is released in you. You get so angry that that release of emotion in you helps you achieve healing. So catharsis is the purging. Sometimes it can be the purging of yourself of certain emotion. That when you finish watching a play, there's a release, there's an outpouring of that emotion in you that you become healed. Imagine you watching a play about something that has happened to you in the past that you have bottled up. It can be one of overwhelming sadness. You've carried on in life with this sadness that it is overwhelming for you, and you come watch a play that expresses such situation very glaringly, so glaringly that you just have to pour out. I mean, the sight, the beholding of such beautiful display of what you feel helps you discharge the bottled up emotion inside you. That is what we call catharsis. Also, we have tragic flaw, which is alternatively called hamartia. Tragic flaw. This here is a certain trait of the protagonist that ends up leading or causing the downfall of the protagonist. And that's why it is called the tragic flaw. It is a flaw, a fault in character of an individual that leads to the downfall of that individual. For example, I said, okay, I didn't write about that here. Yeah, that's it. There are some, you may be watching a play or reading a play where the protagonist is very kind-hearted to everybody. He or she is kind-hearted to a fault. And he or she then extends that kind heart to the antagonist, and that allows the antagonist to penetrate the protagonist and then kills the protagonist. So you see, the protagonist here has fallen down, but has fallen down because he is too kind-hearted. So the kind-heartedness of the protagonist is what we refer to as tragic flaw, because that kind-heartedness has caused his or her downfall. Let's move on to dramatic irony. Dramatic irony. This is when the readers know something about a particular actor on stage, or actress on stage, or in a book, has a particular information that that actress or actor doesn't have. I mean, in a play that you're watching, there may be an information that a certain character doesn't know about, but the viewers know, because that information may have been passed somehow by other characters on stage, and so the viewers have this knowledge, this information, but a certain character doesn't know, and so operates from a point of ignorance. An example is The Gods Are Not to Blame by Olarotimi. I don't know if you've read that book. A beautiful book. The Gods Are Not to Blame by Olarotimi. The protagonist in that book, who was the king, vowed that he was going to capture the person who killed his father. He was going to end the scourge in his community, which he presided over. That was the vow the king made. Unknown to him that he was the cause of the pandemic, may I borrow that term, that he had vowed to cure. He was the cause, but he did not know. But the audience knew. The readers will know that he is the one at fault, but he doesn't know. But I mean, that is what we call dramatic irony. When you, the reader, or the audience of a play, know something that a certain character doesn't know, and that character functions in ignorance. Suspense here refers to the holding of vital information in a story, in a play, such that you as the reader or the audience continue to follow because you want to unravel that mystery. That is suspense. It is used to encourage readers to read on. Some vital information cannot be given to you early, because when you get this information, you may not read on, or you may not watch on, or the appeal just declines. And so the writer holds this information as a leverage to make you read further. Soliloquy is when one character in a play speaks to himself or herself. You have characters who just stay and they are talking. Oh, do I give him the money? No, I won't give him the money. I should. He has been good to me. Soliloquy is when, like what I just did, the character is talking to himself or herself. You're soliloquizing. Chorus here refers to in a play when characters speak in unison. Characters speak together. They act together. They do things in unison. It's a chorus. I mean, in a play you may have three characters who are talking randomly, and then at the point they all just say one thing at the same time. Oh, the three characters say the same thing at the same time. Oh, they have chorused together. That's chorus. Genre here refers to the three branches of literature, and they are poetry, prose, and drama. So there are three genres of literature. This here refers to branches. Yeah. Now we have aside. Aside in literature is when a character leaves the other characters on stage and faces the audience and says something to the audience which the other characters cannot hear. In an acting, one character breaks out from the other characters and faces the audience and says, I am going to deal with him. He doesn't know. I'm going to deal with him. He doesn't know. In real term, that character or the other characters will hear, but it is made to seem as though they cannot hear. So they do not pay any attention to this person doing an aside with the audience. Because in the play, that character who is doing an aside is speaking just with the audience. Climax is the highest point of a story. It's the highest point of conflict in a story. It is that point where all activities clash In movies, if you watch American films, it is the climax that Nigerians or Africans call last fight. At this point, there's going to be last fight. It is the peak, the highest point of all action in drama. Audition is the process of selecting actors and actresses for a play, for drama. That process of selection. To stage a drama, you will have many people come apply or come request to be on the drama, to perform. So it is the work of the director or the producer the director most likely, to select people that he or she feels can play the different roles that exist in that play. So that process of selection is what we call audition. The producer usually is the owner of a play. The owner of a play which holds on stage. The producer may not be the writer. It may be the producer who would have paid the writer to write a story. The producer can also be the one who is paying the director. The producer also releases funds for the payment of the actors who go on stage. The next point is prompter. The prompter here is always backstage, assisting the actors. I mean, when you see actors come on stage, there's always somebody behind the scenes who doesn't get seen by you, the audience, but who is seen by the actors every time they go backstage. So the prompter helps them achieve so many things. There are times when the prompter helps an actor remember his or her lines, remember certain actions that he or she is supposed to play out on stage. While you don't see the prompter is very important because such a person assists the actors in so many ways backstage. And Z is flashback. Flashback is more or less like thinking back. There's a way to incorporate thinking on stage where actions which have happened in the past are replayed. Now, having concluded the alphabets in English A to Z, we shall name our next feature of drama as AA. You can imagine how many they are. Projection is the next. In projection, the playwright is helping you see the future of a place. He's helping you see what will happen ahead. Now, this is the opposite of flashback. Next is prologue. Prologue is an introduction of a play. It is usually the playwright's voice that you read or hear in the prologue. If you pick up a play to read, you'll notice a narrative that first goes on where the playwright is laying the background and helping you understand certain things about the play. It's more like the foundation. It introduces the story to you. Prologue. Epilogue, on the other hand, comes at the end of a play. And it is here that a playwright justifies or explains certain scenarios or situations in the play. It is epilogue. Remember one thing, while this comes at the beginning, epilogue comes at the end. Stage directions. Stage directions. While a play is written in a book, the playwright will have directions as to how that play can be directed. It means that in case somebody chooses to pick this book and says, I want to stage this story, how the stage should be set how the characters come in and go out. The directions as to how the play happens on stage is already written in the book. So in most cases, the stage directions are written before scenes begin in the book or after scenes. Those are, I mean, you see that when you pick a story. I advise you to pick one play and read if you've never read one. You may want to start with The Lion and the Jewel. Very interesting book. There are also very amazing plays that you can pick and read, and you'll see all of these that we've talked about. Deus Ex Machina. I mean, it is, the original meaning is God of Machine. This tool is used in resolving a badly written play. You wouldn't need this if you have a play which is properly written and can be properly staged. But when your play has defects, when your play has perhaps an unconvincing ending, you can use this strategy to bring an end to the play in a manner that will not seem rash to a mind which is not very creative. In this case, let's say a play is ongoing and the ending seems awkward and you want to end it in a manner that will not seem too bad. You can bring a character in that will pose as God or perhaps have supernatural powers, and this character can just come and do some machinations and then things get to an end and the play ends. In the minds of the audience, some may not understand what has happened, some will, but you have achieved an end somehow by the introduction of a character who comes to play God and plays magician, and everything vanishes and resolution comes. That is Deus Ex Machina. We shall move to the next now, which is Peri Pecha. Peri Pecha. And this here is the sudden reversal or sudden downturn of the fortune of the main character. What I mean here is, it is when the circumstance of the main character begins to come down. Let's say there's a main character in a story. Let's still go back to Olaroteme's The Gods Are Not to Blame. The Gods Are Not to Blame by Olaroteme's, whose major character was Odewale. Odewale, who was the king, was married to a woman, and then there was a problem plaguing his community, and he vowed to solve that problem. So in the eyes of his people, he was a good king up to a certain point, when he realized that the woman he was married to was his mother, and that the man that he killed some time ago was his father, which made true the prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his mother. So when he realized that point and began to fall, that is a sudden downturn in the fortune of Odewale, who was the main character of The Gods Are Not to Blame. So that situation is what this is. The second is poetic drama. This is a drama written in verses. A drama written in verses, which is like a poem. It's like a poem, but it is drama. It can be staged, and as well it can be read in a closet and enjoyed like a poem or like a drama piece. Yes. The next is proscenium arch. The proscenium arch is the separation between the acting space, the space where actors display, and the audience. The separation between the acting space, the stage, separation between the stage and the audience. In classical drama, there will be a curtain which separates the stage from the audience. And so when the acting is about to begin, the curtain will give way so that the actors could be seen. That is what we call the proscenium arch. The next is antihero. Antihero is a main character. Antihero is a main character who lacks the qualities of being a hero. A main character who lacks the qualities of a hero. There are some drama that you see a main character whom the story revolves around, and you're telling yourself that this character doesn't look like a hero. He doesn't look strong, or she doesn't look firm enough to be looked up as a hero. That kind of character is called anti-hero. The next is tragic hero. A tragic hero is a good character who has a minor flaw and who is brought down by that flaw, and so there is sadness. Remember, this is a good character with minor faults whose downfall causes sadness. A good character who has minor faults, and then this character falls down, and there is sadness because even though the character has minor faults, that character is good. That character perhaps is better than us, and so that character doesn't deserve to fall the way he or she has fallen. Now we shall look at the last three features of drama. First of all, portmanteau word. Portmanteau word. It has an odd name, but a very simple meaning. It is the blend of two or more words to create one word. It is the blend of two or more words to create one word. For example, if I blend education and entertainment together to form one word, I may arrive at edutainment. Edutainment. Yeah, this is a blend of education plus entertainment, then I get edutainment. So what we achieve here is what portmanteau word is. It is the fusion of two or more words to create one. It can be a function of the creative license of you, a writer. I mean, you can do this for the fun of it. There's no particular rule guiding how you do it, as long as you are within the space of literature. The next is motivation. Motivation here is unlike the normal social or work motivation. It is about rationale for characters. Every character in a play performs actions. And so what is meant here is that the basis for every action of every character must be understood. For a character to do a thing in a play, the rationale has to be well portrayed. If a character is evil in a play, what is the motivation of the evil of that character? So it is the duty of the playwright to portray why that character is evil. It is not, if you have read The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare, you'll notice that Shylock is a wicked man in The Merchant of Venice. But Shylock is not just wicked for wicked's sake. Shylock chose to be wicked in The Merchant of Venice to is it Antonio or Bassanio, because of business reasons. He wants to make more profits and so has to be wicked to his rival in business. Yes, there's greed in Shylock's mind. In the play, you'll notice that Shylock is greedy. But why is Shylock greedy? Shylock is greedy because he is a businessman, and a businessman wants to make profits. But he takes that urge or longing for profit to the extreme in wanting to kill Antonio. Or is it Antonio or Bassanio? Yes. So, there's a reason for every action. When you have a character who is good, there may be a portrayal as to why that character is good. So that rationale behind the actions of characters in a play is what we refer to as motivation. The reason for the actions that characters take in a play. And lastly, it is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is a skill of letting the readers or the audience have a hint about future occurrences in the play. You may foreshadow by giving a hint as to how the ending will be, but not giving that ending. It is just a hint. It's not like you're going to expose your entire ending in a play early. No. If you do that, you'll end up having the audience feel that they already know the end, so why do they need to watch on? But it's just a hint, a slight urge. You foreshadow what the end looks like without showing the end. So it is more like a technique of even suspense, which creates hunger in the minds of your readers and your audience as to wanting to see that actual end which they've got hints of. So with this, we have come to the end of Features of Drama. I do sincerely hope that you have understood every single feature that I have explained to you. Thank you and see you in the next class.